conveying my condolences to the family and friends of my friend and family member, Mr. Roy Marlin, on behalf of the government and people of St. Martin. We have lost yet another political heavyweight. And I smiled as I heard the words of "go hard or go home," especially coming from the character of Roy Marlin himself, who often rendered advice to my person before and during my political career. Mr. Marlin had made his mark on this political arena on St. Martin with his contributions as a civil servant, board member at NVGB, Island Council member, commissioner in the Executive Council, and member of Parliament. The public of St. Martin can sign the condolence register in his remembrance that is located in the lobby of the Government Administration Building until this Friday, May 25th. The people of St. Martin has lost also a cultural icon in the person of Roland Bryson, aka Paben, or Me Paben. Mr. Bryson is a recently retired civil servant, and that's how I actually know his age, that rendered years of service to the government of St. Martin in his capacity as an employee at the Hygiene and Communications Department. Old man Paben, Mr. Bryson thrilled and entertained crowds locally and internationally with his performance with the Coal Bay Theatre Company. And additionally, over the years, Paben became a cultural fixture with his numerous contributions and love for annual carnival festivities. His last remark to me in here was, "Miss Marlin, I have a lot of pictures of you, but you need to raise your head up so I can take that picture." So when sitting here in the Council of Ministers meetings, in the press briefing, I often, when I see him, have to lift my head up because he always reminded me of such so he can take pictures. He indeed will be dearly missed. To his family, co-workers, and friends, I extend my deepest condolences, especially to his co-workers of DCOM and the staff of DCOM. I wish each of you much strength during this time of bereavement. I would like to also inform the public that the recruitment of the National Recovery Bureau program has started, and the vacancy for the director position can be found on the government's website. Within short, the other vacancies will be published on the website, the government info page, and through social media in the coming weeks. I have also requested for these vacancies to be published via the St. Martin House in the Netherlands, allowing our St. Martin professionals the opportunity to apply for these positions as well. I encourage everyone, and especially young St. Martiners, to keep an eye out for these vacancies. The National Recovery Program Bureau will be responsible for the implementation of the recovery and resilience projects that will be financed by the World Bank Trust Fund. It will be headed by a director who is responsible for approximately 20 staff members, including financial management specialists, procurement specialists, safeguard specialists, and individual project leaders. All of these positions will be recruited in a transparent manner and in accordance with World Bank procedures. The success of the Bureau will be essential for the recovery process, so I'm calling on all the bright minds of St. Martin that may be on the island or off the island to consider applying for a position within the Bureau. In addition, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all civil servants and external stakeholders who participated in the consultation of the National Recovery and Resilience Plan last week. The NRRP will provide a roadmap of the recovery process and will offer a detailed overview of the different recovery and resilience needs in the short, medium, and long term. The National Recovery and Resilience Plan will not provide a list of projects that will be financed by the World Bank Trust Fund, but it will function as the key body to make the difficult choices on what the available funding will be spent on. And as stated before, difficult choices lie ahead because the damage that remains far exceeds the scope of the trust fund. As I did last week, I want to re-emphasize and ask the public to also do their part and start making personal plans for their immediate family and community in preparation for the hurricane season. This information in preparation should cover personal emergency family planning that takes into account the well-being of their children, household emergency supplies, pets, all insurances, safeguarding important documents, and access to communication resources. Persons are also reminded to be vigilant and act responsibly by avoiding the spread of information that does not originate from official government sources. And in preparation for the hurricane season, I would like to also announce that together with the Ministry of VROMI and VSA, the inspection of specific shelters has begun as of yesterday. The shelters are being inspected for any possible damages, and we're asking ourselves, the assessments will include, are they ready to be used for the next season? And alternative shelters are being researched in preparation for the hurricane season.
Tell them, connecting you.
Hi, I'm Fernando Clark.
And I'm Sherlyn Clark.
And we invite you to St. Martin's first ever father and son comedy show called It's a Family Affair.
On Sunday, June 3rd, under the tent at Port au Plaisance.
Starting at 7 p.m. sharp.
Gates open at 6 p.m.
Okay, since you feel you're so smart, tell them where they could get tickets and for how much.
Big D Photo Studio on the Pondfield Road, Vandor Bookstores in Simpson Bay and on the 80 Elledge Road, SOS Radio in Marigot, and Arts and Gas Station in Hamel Dupont.
And for how much?
Only $30. So come out on June 3rd under the tent at Port au Plaisance to see me in action.
To see you? No, they're coming to see me.
Okay then, come out to see both of us.
And bring the whole family.
Because it's a family affair.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Mega Wadi is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
I just returned this weekend attending a conference in Miami, the CRIS conference, or Caribbean Hotel and Resort Investment Summit. I went in my capacity as Deputy Prime Minister because actually they had invited the Prime Minister to attend, but because of other commitments that she had, I attended on her behalf. They had asked me to come to participate on a panel for a discussion about building a better tomorrow after a natural disaster, a government's perspective. Was on a distinguished panel with members from the U.S. Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Anguilla, and Haiti. It was an excellent conference, actually attended as well by the Secretary General of TIAT, Miguel de Wever. And although I was there just for the panel discussion, of course, we attended all of the shows, all of the meetings, all of the conferences, and an opportunity to network with the participants. And it turned out, I think, to be an extremely beneficial, productive event. We met representatives from Hilton, who are looking at the possibility of flagging a property here. Apple Leisure Group, which is a vertically integrated company, it's becoming quite a powerhouse in the tourism industry, who's also looking at a management contract here. Construction companies who are being asked to bid on reconstruction projects in St. Martin, so it's an opportunity for them to get a feeling for, what is the labor market like? Can we find workers? If we need to apply for permits, how would that work? Are there incentives, housing issues? So it was really a very good opportunity to speak to a number of potential contractors that may be participating in the reconstruction process in St. Martin, representatives from World Bank, as well as a number of suppliers. There's obviously a lot of construction supply companies, windows, doors, air conditioning companies, who are interested in supplying materials for the rebuilding process in St. Martin. We asked them as well to say, look, not only look for distribution of your product, but one of the best ways, I believe, to sell product is to educate the public. And so we've asked if they would be interested in coming and helping to educate the consumers in St. Martin in terms of different products. How do you, I've seen, and I mentioned this in the conference, I've seen windows and doors, a sliding glass door that easy could be $8,000 door, put in with $15 worth of fasteners, so of course the thing blew in after Irma. So although you bought a very expensive door, if they're not properly installed, it really doesn't matter. So I thought it was very interesting. They're willing to come and host different educational seminars on the island. As well met with representatives from Sunwing. As you know, Sunwing has purchased the Great Bay Hotel. They're looking at redeveloping. As a matter of fact, they had representatives in St. Martin just earlier this month speaking to the Ministry of Romy about permitting process. So, I was very encouraged. It looks as if there's quite some movements in terms of reconstruction from a private sector perspective for the country. Some interesting points from the conference. Puerto Rico has just enacted a Tourism Incentive Act, so other countries in the Caribbean are looking to see what can they do to incentivize and stimulate the tourism industry. Everyone from private sector there really emphasized the fact that government's participation as a facilitator in the reconstruction process is critical. All of them stressed that locations that have good airlift are of primary interest to them from an investment perspective. So, the news in the paper just yesterday about Nagico and the airport going to court, in my opinion, is sad. I always think that court should be last resort, that should be after you've exhausted all possibilities for negotiations, dialogue, and mediation. So, and of course, Anguilla, in our discussions, stressed that they're so dependent on St. Martin for airlift. So I think we have a responsibility to our neighbors, to ourselves, to really ensure that the airport is operational as soon as possible.
SXLM, connecting you.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of fun miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free fun miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles, from within your reach.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
In the Integrity Committee, the matter of a code of conduct for members of Parliament is on the agenda. So the handling of a code of conduct in the Integrity Committee of Parliament is ongoing and needs to be picked up. We have in the Committee for Petitions, we have the pending request from the Independence for St. Martin Foundation. You know that that organization asks Parliament to consider convening a referendum. And we need to deal with that petition. It's a petition to Parliament. So what would happen in a case like this? The Committee of Petitions will analyze, handle, and make a recommendation on that petition. The recommendations that come from a Committee of Parliament go to the Central Committee of Parliament, where it will be deliberated on, and then the Central Committee would then make a final proposal to Parliament for a decision to be taken. So that's the routing when you have matters that are with the different committees of Parliament. We have just given you some random matters that are outstanding and that the committees need to pick up. We have the preparatory resolutions for Middle Region and Dutch Quarter. That is pending for the VROMI Commission. We have pending in the VSA Commission the medical referrals policy, so referrals abroad. That is also pending. And then in the Finance Committee of Parliament, we have matters like the fiscal and tax system for St. Martin. An audience has been requested for or with the Central Bank. That too is pending for the Finance Committee of Parliament. The APS projects, so the projects for the General Pension Fund of St. Martin, that is also a pending issue for the Commission. And then we have the many reports from the General Audit Chamber, which usually are handled in the Committee for Country Expenditures. That's what that committee is called. So, as I said, all the matters, not only those that I mentioned, but all the pending matters in the different committees have been listed for the chairpersons of these committees. It is up to the chairpersons, in consultation with the chairperson of Parliament, myself, to schedule committee meetings. Because while the membership of the committees is very defined in terms of whether we have committees with 4 persons, we have with 8, we have with 9. So the sizes of the committees are different. However, all members of Parliament may attend a committee meeting. If it comes down to voting on a matter in the committee, like where would they send an advice or should they call in a minister, those things can come up in a committee meeting. And if it comes down to making a decision, only the members of the committee vote in a committee. That's how, for example, the chairs and vice chairs were appointed, only by the members of the committee. So, again, the scheduling of meetings by the committees need to be synchronized with the general schedule of Parliament, because you want to make sure that you don't have meetings overlapping, enabling all members of parliament to attend a committee meeting if they so desire. So that is going to be part of Parliament's schedule.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Sherlon, what are you doing?
Oh, just sending my friends a tweet to come to the show to see me.
To see you? They ain't coming to see you, they come to see me. But by the way, what's that tweet?
I'm just sending them a message to come to the show.
It's a family affair, a father and son comedy show featuring the philosopher of humor Fernando Clark and his son, the rising star Sherlon Clark, in the first ever pre-Father's Day comedy show on Sunday, June 3rd, under the tent at the Port of Plaisance, starting at 7 p.m. sharp, gates open at 6 p.m. Tickets are available at the Vandor bookstores in Simpson Bay and at the 80 Illich Road, Big D Photo Studio on the Pondfield Road, and SOS Radio in Marigot for $30. Bring the whole family because it's a family affair.
Daddy, what are you doing?
Sending my friends a tweet too so that they could come to the show.
Daddy, you can't. Just give me their numbers and I'm gonna send them a message, alright?
And tell them bring the daddy and the mommy and grandpa and granny and nenen and godfather. Tell them bring the whole family because it's a family affair.
Alright.
Yes, of course, the Health and Wellness Fair was something that we started some 10 years ago. This is our 10th year. And how we came about it, well, you know, in the year 2006 and 2007, I was the district governor of Sub-District 60, and I had to visit all the islands in the Caribbean. And I noticed that most of these islands were organizing a Health and Wellness Fair, which, of course, we never heard about. But in particular, in Jamaica, when I went, I did go to a massive, I must say, health and wellness fair, you know, where, because over there they even carry out all sorts of tests, you know, the doctors are there and they do all sorts of tests and so with the people. So when I came back, I discussed it with my cabinet secretary, who was the late Rudy Hoover. That's why we have named it after him. And he said, this is a great initiative, we should start it as soon as possible. And he was very much involved in our side projects, really. And so then the two of us got together and we got the club to agree that we should also do this. And how we started, we said, well, listen, let us look at the different health organizations on the island. You know what I mean? You had then you already had the Diabetes Foundation, you had the Positive Foundation, you know, all these different organizations that are in healthcare. We approached the health department. We approached all the different, of course, offices of the government also, because you know, and then doctors as well as possible. And then I was also working at the St. Martin Medical Center for some time, and there too, you know, I got some more ideas from the nurses, from the doctors, etc., how to set up this thing. And we started small. But it has grown so tremendously because everybody wanted to be part of, you know. And then it went from health, it went to health and wellness, because formerly it was only, in the beginning it was only health, you know. But then it went to wellness because then we started to invite notaries to talk about the will, talk about this and that. You know, we invited lawyers to talk. We invited all sorts of other people to talk about issues that pertain to wellness of people. And so it started to go tremendously. And I can tell you, last year, for instance, we counted the people that came in, and it is a lot more, but we counted 955 persons that visited the fair. So it's not a small little thing. It's something that is really necessary in this community. And it is all free of charge. You know what I mean? Can you imagine you can get a cholesterol test, you know, and you can get a blood test, you can get whatever you need just like that, you know, for free. So I'm encouraging each and every one to come out really this coming Saturday, don't forget people, Saturday the 26th of May. We're starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we are at Bel Air Community Center, please people. We are not in the Festival Village. It was not possible this year, but we are at Bel Air Community Center. Don't you worry, there's sufficient parking, there's sufficient space, and we are using the entire premises of Bel Air Community Center. You know, we have extra, I think you all spoke about that already, all the different exercises and the different things. People need to exercise. I'm 80 years old and I still exercise, and so I don't see why, you know, why people younger than me can't come out and, you know, do some exercises also.